Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please. Like,
we're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population.
These blacks.
Oh, yeah. What happened to your sheriff? There's powerful niggardry at work here.
We are living in a special time right now. We really are, man. Put the one in the chat if you can hear me, and then put a one in the chat also if you think we are living through really special times. You know, I wasn't even going to go live tonight. I actually kind of had a long day, way longer than usual, and I was just going to chill. And then I was unable to chill because there was so much going on, and I just knew I had things to talk about. I couldn't let this go by and everybody else get the first crack at it. Like, no, I had the time, and then I found the energy, and now we're here. And oh my God, I'm glad we're here because wow, what a day. And the fact that I don't know if anybody catches the universal, and I don't mean universal in the broad, I mean in like the grand cosmic ironic sense, right? There's a cosmic, a universal irony to the fact that we've been having for almost a week, we had the black fatigue conversation on a social level, right? It wasn't a national conversation for public officials to comment on. You didn't even hear like really big name celebrities talking about it unless they were already like, you know, podcast people like a Jason Whitlock or something, right? But we've been having the black fatigue conversation nonetheless. And then to cap off the black fatigue conversation, you get President Trump who goes full he's Zelensky'd the South African president, Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa got Zelensky. They are talking about Trump now like you are. They talk about the White House like it's the principal's office. Like people are trying to avoid getting called up to the Oval Office. You don't want to get called into one of these presidential Oval Office public meetings where you get put on blast and you look crazy. You're trying to explain yourself. And he's like, nah, shut up. What about this? What about that? Whoa, we are in a great moment now, man. Hit that like button, guys. I want to run through some things lightly, delicately, because I realize even in trying to talk about this, you know, I can use absolutely zero profanity and still lose monetization because there are certain words that are just trigger words. And I'm going to try my best to avoid the G ride word because the G ride is kind of the word that people are throwing around. And I don't want to debate whether or not the white South African people have been taken on a G ride, but I think it's easier to say that there is a problem. There is persecution. There is specifically racial persecution going on. But what the media people try to do is be like, oh no, Trump said it's a G ride. It's not a G ride. See, we have a traditional definition of a G ride, and this does not look like a G ride. It's not even a G wagon. And you know, the media is real funny about that kind of thing. And you got to be careful about the language and all that. But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going because it is not a G ride. It is merely racial persecution. That's all that's happening here. Trump is defending racial persecution. And you know, there's another thing playing out in the background. It's the it's the Voldemort of questions. You know, we raised this question the other day when I asked when I did the stream about race and liberalism. When you get an issue like this, right? And the way Trump has artfully delivered the issue to the media, and he's not battling the media per se with this, but he is highlighting the media's hypocritical, awkward take on it. And he isn't really claiming to be defending white people uniquely or solely as some personal goal of his. No, and he's way too clever for that. I don't think people give Trump enough credit for his media savvy. He really does know the media better than the media knows itself, right? And what's been happening is the media is refusing to lend any of the emotional, any of the argumental credibility that they would normally lend to any other people. Every group around the world, anybody that has stubbed a toe, anybody that's fallen out of a chair, anybody that's gotten yelled at by their husband or boyfriend, they get a media highlight. Anybody that has a bad day, they get a media highlight. Every problem around the world has a GoFundMe and a cable news campaign behind it, except for one. And not only does this one campaign not have any support, it's actually kind of hated when you bring it up. People don't like for you to talk about this one thing.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
And Trump has decided, in all of this infinite presidential wisdom, he wants to talk about the thing without talking about the thing, and then let everybody else talk about the thing.
Another day for the history books today from Donald J. Trump. An astonishing display from him in the White House today. Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader inside the Oval Office.
He really did ambush and humiliate him, though. No cap. This was worse than the Zelensky thing, man. The Zelensky thing was, honestly, it was like accidental. It wasn't meant to be that way. The thing that happened between Trump and Zelensky kind of just went downhill because, Zelensky probably did a Scarface move before he walked into the Oval Office. He just put his face right into a mountain of white stuff. He just went all the way in, balls to the wall, and then he walked into the meeting and no cares left, right? But Trump and Vance didn't want that to happen. This right here was coordinated. This was planned. This was not, it was orchestrated. Like, there's a question. I don't want to play the clip for you because, everybody likes to talk about the G-Ride stuff. So I want you to understand, President Trump walked him into this like he had a carrot on a stick. It was beautiful. A reporter asked Trump, is there any way that we can convince you? No. Is there any way that Ramaphosa can convince you that there is no G-Ride happening? And Ramaphosa cut off the president before Trump could even speak. And Ramaphosa said something, nigga babble, no such thing, nigga babble. And then Trump was like, let's play the tape. And it was a glorious tape. It was an amazing tape. Like the tape, oh my God, what a tape. It was pure right-wing edit glory. It was an amazing right-wing edit moment. Like these are the kind of videos that I collect when I'm just scrolling through my Twitter. Every now and then I say, you know what, I might play this on my show. It was an epic moment in presidential big dickery. Like he really just no, shut up, bitch.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. And I will never want to do bigger. How can we drop our membership from this useless parliament? Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot, kill, Gaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, pa, 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 to kill Gaza.
Trump, in a lot of ways, is the most modern president. Like I'm tempted to call him a postmodern president. Like he is the president for the new era. It seems like Trump is ushering in a completely new wave right now. What Trump just did, Freeze on Lou, you're great to point this out. He says, if you've ever had someone lie to you on a panel and they say, play you lying, and they say you lying and you play the clip and you have the clip, you know the feeling. Like, and Freeze on Lou, you know, you and I are, you know, panel denizens. We've been in, around, and on many of a Negro panel, and we've caught many of a Negro lying. And you have specialized in collecting the clips, so I know you have a war chest of Negroes lying just in case they ever get a little froggy and you feel like making an example of someone. I know this to be true without talking to you at it at all. I know how it is, right? Because if I was in that lane, I would be doing the same thing. President Trump has taken internet panel tactics to the presidential realm. He has taken internet manosphere YouTubery tactics to the Oval Office. This is the most modern thing ever. The only way to get more modern than this is to airstrike a nigga from your iPhone, bro. That's the next thing. When Trump is riding on Air Force One, he pulls out the iPhone and he just drops a bomb on somebody with his 2 fingers. I'm telling you, wait till that happens. I hope that doesn't happen. I want peace and prosperity, honestly. But I'm just telling you, that's how modern we are right now. We are living in the day after tomorrow.
The man of DJ in PE is a white man. So these people really want to hit them hard. Go after a white man. They think a talent will pay because you attack a white man. Not because Pajama and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched. Come on. But we're starting with this whiteness. We're cutting the clothes of whiteness. In Ghana. Shoot, kill, woman stop.
Trump is the first president to pull out receipts in real time. Normally you get, like, you know, a letter from the State Department, you know, you get an envelope, you get a cable from your communique or whatever the government normally used to do back in the movies. Nah, we're not doing none of that no more. We're not doing any of the old things anymore. We're putting you on blast live in front of the world. I got receipts. This is you talking crazy. What's up with that? Tell everybody why you was talking crazy. Bro, this is the most internet thing ever.
I'm saying to you, was not called
for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't ever see the picture. Do you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter? They freak out. It sounds like a genocide on that. I can't take it.
Trump like, yo, y'all dropped the diss track. You ain't never seen a president pull up another president to the Oval Office and play the diss track. Like, yo, what's up with this diss track? Like, y'all really got in the studio and wrote a whole diss track about my team? Like, what's good with that? You thought I wasn't going to hear this record? Like, you really thought I wasn't going to hear this record? This is the wildest thing, bro. I don't even know what kind of politics this is anymore. Reagan could never. Reagan would never. Bush would never. Obama would never. No, none of them. Nobody can do this, bro. There's only one guy. There is only one guy.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Jig up here thought he was going to drop a diss record and I wasn't going to hear about it. The nerve of these foreign nibs, I tell you. Y'all thought the Kendrick Drake beef was dope, huh? Y'all thought the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef was lit? No, this is a whole other kind of beef. I press this button and y'all people going to be eating each other next month. Bars.
Whether they like it or not, if they object, they can seek a refugee in America.
Now, this is very...
Now, you know what's crazy about this moment? He really in the principal office right now, bro. Yo, he really in the principal office right now. If Donald Trump would have pulled out a ruler and said, put your knuckles out, he would have did that shit. I'm telling you, Donald Trump, if Trump would have said, put your hands on the table, he'd have had to put his hands on the table. Like, what else you gonna do, bro? What else you gonna do? Don't make me play this record. Listen, I'm gonna bring the Secret Service in here and play this record and see if you don't put your hands on the table then. Like, bro, he really in the principal office right now. This is wow. Yeah, you a grown man. I bet you the man around your town, ain't you? I bet you when you around your way, people wave, people get out the way when you walk down the street. You really thought you was somebody, huh?
Right, man, these are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross.
I dare you tell me I'm lying. I dare you tell me I'm lying. Stand your black ass up, look me in my eye, and tell me I'm lying. I dare you say something, nigga.
Toby be good nigga for massa. Good nigga. Don't send Toby away.
Uh-huh. You know you need this money. You need these greenbacks. I dare you tell me I'm lying.
And there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. and those cars aren't driving. They're stopped there.
And look at him over here. Ooh, what is that? I've never seen that before. Mr. President, can you tell me where that is? This your house, bro. How you gonna ask me where the body's buried in your house? How you don't know where the body's buried in your house? Your house that big? You should see my house. You should see the house we got over here. You can't find a couple bodies in your house. You need me to tell you? Oh, man. Oh, man, what a moment.
To pay respects to their family member who's killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. Give a nigga a break. How much more can I take? Give a nigga a break.
We had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that. It'll be the end of the country if it's not.
So next, Trump asked his staff to dim the lights and roll in a television. Once the lights were dimmed and the television was there, they played a video that Trump claimed showed evidence of genocide against white farmers.
I like the era that we live in right now. You can literally just pull out your phone like, nah, look at this video right here. Everything I'm talking about is right here, bro. I'm not even lying. Listen, you watch this video, you research, you type in the words, and you look it up yourself, and you tell me I'm tripping.
Here's the reality as reported by the New York Times. Quote, there have been killings of white South Africans, but police statistics show they are not killed at a higher rate than other South Africans. And while the South African government did pass a law permitting the government to take land without compensation, the process is subject to judicial review. President Ramaphosa did his part to fact check Donald Trump in real time. He added that he didn't even recognize some of the locations in the video. Here's what he had to say.
Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
No, nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people.
Yeah, everybody gets killed. Everybody dies.
After all that, the leader of South Africa's president, tried to lighten the mood a little bit. Trump suggested that all of this tension between them could have been avoided as South Africa had just bought him an airplane.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I'd take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay.
You guys would never have enough planes. You've seen all them crosses. How many planes you think you need to pay for? You guys don't have that kind of money anyway.
Well, there you have it.
Who wants to fly on a South African plane? I mean, really? Really? If you gave me one for free, I would sell it for parts, man. I would scrap it immediately.
Conspiracy theory peddling leader of the United States of America sitting inside a gilded Oval Office, again, tarnishing America's image around the world. Is where we start today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. New York Times diplomatic correspondent Michael Crowley joins us. Also joining us, Princeton University professor, MSNBC contributor Eddie Glaude's here. With me at the table, former Undersecretary of State during the Obama administration and author of Mandela's Way, Lessons on Life, Love, and Courage. Rick Stengel's here. We need some life, love, and courage to get through this today. You watched the whole thing. Give me your analysis.
I mean, it was an astonishing display. It's kind of a circus that he has now with these sprays. Instead of actually going in and talking to the world leader, he kind of puts them on display.
For whom?
I don't know. I guess for his own audience. I think
Trump putting people on blast for the whole world, bro. That's the president we got. My president will put your president on blast. What's your president going to do? Going to write a letter to the UN? We own that too. We own everything.
Part of what I find amazing too is that he has no impulse control. So he just keeps taking questions instead of saying, okay, we'll take some questions after we talk. But I think his attempt to humiliate Cyril Ramaphosa wasn't successful. I thought President Ramaphosa conducted himself with great poise. He was good-humored about it. He didn't insist on rebutting those charges, even though, for the most part, Trump's lies and exaggerations were extreme. There are about 100,000 Afrikaner farmers in South Africa. By the way, they are in no way responsible for.
If there are 100,000 of them, what do you think the murder rate is for that one particular group of people?
Or apartheid, which their predecessors created. But they do own a majority of the farmland. And I would argue that so much of this crime is not black on white crime, but poverty on wealth crime. And I mean, I know you didn't see this in the stories.
They want people to think that it's not politically motivated, even though actual members, elected officials, right? A party. You understand? It's not just one guy. It's an entire party that has members in government that have all the access and influence that being a member of government provides. They can garner an entire football stadium full of people marching and chanting, doing their little songs and all of that. But it's not politically motivated, though. It's like regular street crime. It's just like when somebody snatches an old lady's pocketbook or something.
As we were chatting about it before, Cyril brought a couple of folks along with him. Johann Rupert, the industrialist who knows Trump's back since the 70s, Ernie Els, the golfer, and John Steenhuisen, who is the Afrikaans agriculture minister in his government, all of whom said, this is crime. South Africa has a terrible crime problem. Mr. President, we'd like help with our crime problem, but it isn't just focused on this small group of Afrikaner farmers. And I thought they made that point. Not everybody's going to see that. They're going to see the fireworks, but I thought it lowered the temperature in the room in a way that hopefully would make some kind of dialogue useful.
What's different about this particular global tragedy compared to all the other global tragedies happening at any given moment? If you go to like the South American, any random South American country, right? It's essentially an internal problem of like crime, like actual crime, the way he's talking about. Like if you go to a place like Brazil, a lot of street crime, a lot of little mini warlords and whatnot. If you go to like Mexico, it has a similar kind of problem. El Salvador, shout out to Bukele. He found the cure. Bukele, he found the cure. He knows like the secret sauce to ending third world crime. the problem is, though, even like Haiti is another example, right? Similar thing, right? You guys just don't know how to keep yourself together. South Africa has that problem, and they also have a purely racial hostile motive against a particular ethnic minority in the country. And these are two different kinds of problems. One problem is third world nations are always poor and chaotic. And another problem is an actual racial ethnic minority being attacked on purely racial ethnic grounds, which is literally the kinds of thing that the liberals said that they cared about before. But apparently, these are the wrong kind of refugees. We already talked about that before. You got to be the right kind of refugee.
For what?
Well, I mean, to take down the temperature. So, for example, one of the things that's tragic about this is that the U.S. cut off about $400 million in AIDS funding to South Africa. That's huge. That's PEPFAR money that has saved the lives of millions of people.
Listen, it is not our responsibility to stop Africans from raw dogging, bro. I'm not. I really don't care how many times a South African raw dogs. I can't be bothered to. You would literally have to pay me a lot of money to care. Not like a couple of bucks. I mean like hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's how far away I am from caring how many times Africans raw dog one another.
In Southern Africa, they don't have that in their budget where that money comes from. They have to raise taxes. Those are children dying, families dying, mothers dying. So part of the reason that I think Cyril Ramaphosa came here is to say, look, we do need your help. By the way, it's true, as Secretary Rubio said, South Africa has been on the opposite side of so many issues in the UN between the U.S. And other nations. They're always aligned with the non-aligned groups. Even Nelson Mandela was on the other side of the U.S. on a lot of these issues, but that's not.
I will point this one thing out. I think it is worth honorable mention. This is an element of really great triangulation on behalf of Trump, because South Africa is very much anti-Israel. And we know how much America loves Israel, right? Don't we all love Israel in America here? Everybody knows how much America loves Israel. And so by targeting the white ethnic issue in South Africa, it is a way to isolate an anti-Israel opponent on the global stage and quiet the American rumbling voices at home, right? This is great political triangulation by the president. Game respects game. Game is game. You gotta respect the game when you see the game. And I see the game.
Not a reason to stop talking. And I think South Africa wants to kind of repair the breach.
Michael Crowley, if you're a foreign leader or working in the foreign service for a foreign leader, and you watch the information that Trump peddled inside the Oval Office and the quality of the content on the TV screen, what do you believe about the American foreign policy apparatus?
Well, it's off the rails, Nicole. And, the one thing you can say, I suppose, is that by this point, maybe the world is getting used to, I would say, discounting things that the president of the United States says. So,
I think it's really weird. And this is the master stroke by President Trump. He's revealing something that most people had no idea was really there. Like woke right-wing people, the woke right, like they like to say. A lot of people on the right understood the type of problem that the liberals really had. But Trump just put it on Front Street. Liberals don't understand why a group of white people might ever possibly need help for any reason. And there are so many layers to what that means, like the implications to that. The soft bigotry of low expectations, the internalization of white supremacy. All of these things are being revealed right now.
So at some point, I think you reach a kind of there he goes again situation. Not to diminish how astonishing this spectacle was, but now it's sort of becoming part of the Trump show. It was like you when that tirade against Ukrainian President Zelensky happened in February. We all thought, how can this be possible? We've never seen anything like this, and now we're seeing it again. It's becoming the new norm, which is not to normalize it, but I also think, Nicole, at some point you have to wonder when foreign leaders are going to try to avoid being put in that position. I spoke to
I dare you to avoid coming to the White House. That's the game, bro. You want to play ball? You got to play ball on my court. I don't ball on your court. That's not how this works, bro. That's not how any of this works. You want to ball with me? You got to ball over here. Right here. You want to dunk? You dunk on my court. If you get dunked on, that's on you.
A foreign policy professional who is in constant touch with foreign diplomats, who said he was aware of some foreign leaders who actually are hoping to avoid invitations to the White House because they don't want to sit there in the Oval Office with President Trump and just have these, to get berated or to have some kind of a circus breakout. And it just makes diplomacy extremely dysfunctional when the president is so volatile, so unpredictable, and as you point out, relying
President Trump, Alex Larson from EMCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've
don't
just
know.
seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. 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 Horrible death. Death. I don't know. To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I'll give these to you. So when
volatile and unpredictable, he said, right? Isn't that what we just heard? Volatile and unpredictable. Nobody wants to deal with this crazy, crazy man.
you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently. And
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given.
Look, don't make Donald Trump pull up on you. Donald Trump will run down on you. When he invites you to the Oval Office, that's, that you're not going to get clapped up in the Oval Office. Chill. That's not where we do hits, bro. We don't have the wet work team in the Oval Office. That's not how we do things, right? But if I have to run down on you, you're not going to like it. However much you hate sitting in the Oval Office, getting talked about and playing a video where you look crazy, that's cool. You're going to live. If I got to run down on you, when I walk away, this team going to have curtains. That's it. As soon as I walk away, the team going to do their thing. You don't want Trump running down on you, right? It is a whole new type of president.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a response from President Ramaphosa?
Reaction to those videos.
President Trump.
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land, they take your land, and they kill you.
Trump said, I got friends from your town. I know made people, connected people. Who you been with? Farm stealing, Africana murdering, white people hating Maricon. Trump is dropping a mixtape on y'all. I swear to God.
It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now, we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous, look, this is story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are, and you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march, they had a dance.
You know the black people serious when they start dancing, bro. When the black people make up a song and they do dance moves, you know that's when black folk mean business, bro. That's how that's why Trump taking it serious, because Trump know you niggas. Trump know exactly how you niggas give it up. And Trump is like, oh nah, y'all niggas is singing songs about this. Y'all dancing about this? Oh nah. Nah, y'all thought I wasn't gonna take this serious. Y'all tripping. I'm Trump. I'm from Queens. I know how y'all give it up. Get rich or die trying on my not on my watch. You're gonna die trying. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna die trying.
If I was the president, the first thing I would do, I ain't gonna lie, I'm black and I'm proud, but I hate niggas though, I swear. I gotta find a way to put a restraint on some niggas, I swear to God. Cause like niggas be geeking, like a lot wrong with our country because of niggas. I swear to God, every other culture look out for themselves. Niggas be geeking. Like niggas are the reason why America is the way it is. And white people too. No bullshit though. But niggas be geeking though, for real. So I gotta do something about the niggas though. I gotta keep them in line. I gotta keep them in line, bro. We gotta make some laws for niggas. No bullshit.
Strictly niggas.
Niggas. That's what they first. Niggas first, and then everybody else.
So you denounced that type of language in the video that you saw?
Oh yes, we've always done so. As government, as my own party, we are completely opposed to that. We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers.
Trump jumped in immediately like The Rock. Shut up, bitch. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. This is the new diplomacy. The old diplomacy is because y'all was all homosexuals talking to each other, playing footsie under the table. We're not doing that anymore.
So you denounced that type of language in the video that you saw?
Oh yes, we've always done so. As government, as my own party, we are completely opposed to that. We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers.
You know what you black people do when you start dancing? Come on, Rama. Rama, you know how you black people get when you start dancing. Come on, you're going to look me in my face and tell me that's not real? You're making up songs. You're starting to dance. I know what comes next. You know what comes next. You know, the black people are dancing. Next thing you know, there's gunshots at the party.
I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying, kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation. And those crosses, we have dead white people, dead white farmers, mostly.
Donald Trump is he is the postmodern pro-white president. You never seen a president like this before. You probably got to go back to actual Civil War times to find a president who cares about the faith and the prosperity of the common white man.
These blacks.
There's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please.
And you take a look at Australia, they're being inundated and we're being inundated with people that want to get out. And their farm is valueless. It's valueless. And they just want to get out with their life. And this is a very serious situation.
American Man, shout out to American Man with the 5 ball. He says, I'm from Queens. Get rich or die trying line deserves compensation. Trump knows when blacks start dancing, it's go time. Listen, man, you've been around the blacks long enough. Once they start making songs and creating dance moves and stuff, they really mean business. Trump, no, he's from Queens. He know what properties to sell to y'all and which ones to sell to the other people. He not trying to hear that. I don't trust you niggas. I heard you niggas talking behind my back when I wasn't around. You thought I wasn't going to find out?
In many, many ways. And none of us ever having to want to run away to another country for fictional reasons that we are being persecuted. We are united in diversity, and none of us should ever feel that they have lost courage, that they've now become cowards and want to run. Ons bly hier, ons is Suid-Afrikaners, and ons gaan hier bly in many, many ways.
If he wants them to start treating him differently and is going to beg them to attend the G20, he's going to have to compromise some of the fundamental policies of this country, which were not prepared. If he does that, he must not come back. He must stay there with those 49 Afrikaners already. He must also stay there because he can't compromise our sovereignty for political expediency. We've got positions on Palestine. We've got position on the embassy of Israel. We have a resolution of parliament that said that embassy must leave South Africa. It's majority in parliament took that decision.
Did you guys hear him now? Is he unmuted now?
So you cannot go alone as an executive, overrule the position of parliament. If he does that, it will be illegal and we're going to fight it. So if he wants them to start treating him differently and is going to beg them.
There, Larry, has been debate over that song, that anti-apartheid chant, right? And for people who don't have a historical context, it does potentially appear more literal. Talk to us about the debate that has happened inside of South Africa with the recognition of how it appears to people when they hear those words.
Trump got niggas talking about their mixtape now. Trump got niggas explaining their mixtape. Yo, what's up with them bars you wrote about my people? You don't like my people? That's how you really feel? You want my money though, right? That's crazy.
It is
an inflammatory song, without a doubt. And many in South Africa, even Black South Africans, don't think it should be sung in a post-apartheid world, 30 years plus after apartheid. But there are many who grew up under those years of white minority rule who understand the historical context of this song, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, that Julius Malema has made popular again. It sort of fell into disuse. It's not been that commonly sung after the end of apartheid in 1994, but it's brought it back again to reanimate the issue of the majority of land in South Africa still being owned by white farmers.
You know what's really crazy about this issue? So much the farmland is owned by white people, right? Black South Africans are not good farmers. They just can't run the farm. Not only is it a matter of actual farming, then there's the business of it all, you know, maintenance, managing people, keeping your supplies up, maintaining relationships with other important suppliers and customers and whatnot, right? There's a whole world. This is why when you start, if you ever own a business, you go gray. I'm telling you, it's gonna give you gray hairs. You're gonna go bald or something, because even when you're successful, there's just so much going on. The stress levels go up. It is a lot easier to just have a job than it is to run a business, right? A lot of people don't get that. And then there's, you know, South Africans, and apparently they just aren't farming people. And, you know, I want you to look at the delegation real quick.
But we're starting with this whiteness. We're cutting the throat of whiteness. In Ghana, shoot, kill, no man's all. Kill the poor, the farmer.
They don't even want to look. Trump got them all looking crazy right now. You thought y'all was going to come over here and just get some money? Nope.
White Afrikaner refugees here. Can you explain to Americans why it's appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here when other refugees like Afghans, Venezuelans, Haitians have all had their protected status revoked?
Well, this is a group, NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements. We've had tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too, from people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. When you say we don't take others, all you have to do is take a look at the southern border. We let 21 million people come through our border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. They came from all over the world. In many cases, they're criminals. They come from prisons. They come from mental institutions. They come from street gangs. They're drug dealers. So don't say that we didn't take them. We take them. We're trying to get them out as fast as we can. And we're doing record business on that. And we just won a big case where we're allowed to send back hundreds of criminals to Venezuela. Just won that today in the Supreme Court. I'm happy to hear. But we do have a lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting, and we'll see how that turns out. But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. So we take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that. It's a kind of a different meeting. Normally, we have meetings, we talk about trade, and we'll be talking about trade and other things. But that certainly will be a subject that comes up. Yeah.
It's definitely a different kind of meeting. Trump really pulling up with receipts, bro. I got videos. I got the whole right-wing YouTube mix, and I got actual people. You want to talk to my people? These are my people right here. Talk to my people.
I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane, and there is some issues up there. Obviously, my dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer, and yeah, some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it, but it's a constant battle with farms they're trying to burn the farms down to chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end, without farmers, there's no food on the plate. So we need the farmers to produce the food.
Farming, right? He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't even want to do what you're doing. Right? They love farming. They don't want to leave. But it's a struggle.
Yeah, and food and fresh water is the most important thing in life. Without those two things, you can't survive.
How is the water there?
The water is great. Obviously, all the water comes out of the borehole, out of ground for us down there. But yeah, it is a battle to get the water out sometimes when all the equipment gets stolen all the time that you're trying to get the water out.
So does your family and your brother, do they feel safe on the farm?
They live behind electric.
I wonder who's stealing all the equipment. I wonder who's stealing all the water pumping equipment. It's a mystery.
Fences, try and be at night safe. But it is constant whenever you leave that something could happen. And
there's nowhere to live.
Both of them has been attacked in their houses. My mom's been attacked in her house when she was 80. So it is difficult.
Yeah, Trump actually just blew the lid off this whole thing today, man. I'm telling you, it was an amazing day. He's forcing the media to talk about things. Once again, I'm going to force you to talk about the thing you didn't want to talk about.
The conversation to trade, to critical method. I think the South African president initially came to the meeting, and you actually saw him try to extend some olive branches. He tried to direct the conversation to trade, to critical minerals. He brought golfers that he knew the president would listen to, if not listening to his delegation that was presented there. And then when a reporter did ask about these false claims of white genocide, you also saw him try to explain the reality on the ground in his country that President Trump then dismissed. You saw him basically say, and that the data backs this up. Police statistics in South Africa do show that on the subject of killings, there are not mass killings of white South Africans in South Africa. There have been gruesome killings of white farmers, individual cases of that. But as a systemic, the police data shows that right now that white South Africans are not killed at a higher rate than any other South African. There is a broad crime problem in South Africa. That is very different than a claim of genocide. Then there's the issue of land. Well, under apartheid, that apartheid-led government made it very, very difficult, almost impossible for Black people to own farmland. So now you've seen this law passed.
And now here's the message that they try to sell you right now. You must forever, until there's none of you left, you must forever pay for the sins of the past, right? And it raises the issue, like, if I had known that you would have kept the war up until we were all dead anyway, even after we both agreed to stop fighting and I stopped fighting, but you kept fighting anyway, why would I ever have stopped? Like, I was winning. There was no way you would have won if I would have just kept going. And then I decided to be nice, and you said, now I'm just going to chip away at you guys one by one until you're gone. You know what? Maybe I should have never been nice, right? It kind of makes you question everything.
Earlier this year by the South African government that, yes, would take land, but it's subject to judicial review. as well. And it has to be in the public interest. So there's a lengthy process. It's not just like you're confiscating land as well. That nuance also has not been articulated by President Trump here. So you have these two issues, these two false claims. And this meeting, in a way, was the culmination of, for years now, these lobbyists of these Afrikaner groups have been traveling to Washington, talking to Republicans, also talking to this White House that has given them time, actually told us in a piece, described them as civil rights leaders as well. And you're seeing the culmination of that lobbying campaign and the amplifying of these false descriptions of the reality on the ground in this country.
How do you see it, Scott?
Well, look, whether you call it a genocide or not.
Scott Jennings is like the only good thing on CNN right now.
The facts are white farmers in South Africa have been murdered. A lot of people have tried to cover this up. A lot of people in, I think, media in the United States have tried to cover it up. Obviously, the South African government doesn't want to talk about it, so it was kind of a boss move for Donald Trump to roll that television in there today. And I think even the agriculture minister in the Oval Office confirmed that these people are, in fact, being murdered. So my question is, if it's not a genocide today, how many do we want to let get murdered so that people around here can be satisfied? Okay, now it's a genocide. Let's let a few more. I don't understand. We're talking about 50-something people they were trying to let in, and everybody's losing their mind after we let in 20 million illegal immigrants over the last several years. The president is trying to prevent genocide from happening any further to these people. They are clearly being discriminated against. Some have been murdered. This was an interesting spectacle in the Oval Office today, but it had to happen because I don't think anybody was telling the truth about it.
Had to happen. Had to happen.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
You guys have a great night. I'm going to get out of here. I told you guys, I didn't even want to do this, but I had to do it, and so it's done. Thank you for watching. Shout out to South Africa. Shout out to President Trump. A president like no other so far. I got to tell you one thing about him. He does not disappoint. He puts on a show. You thought you were going to get one thing, and you got something totally different. It is a whole new day out here. They really weren't ready for the guy. They really weren't ready. Pineapples, I wasn't ready.
Fuck you. War.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.